All right, so update on the Giulia. I got the Trofeo Ultimo Exhaust kind of laid out here. I'm gonna try and zoom in a little so we can get a better field of view. Yeah, so really nice. I don't have the tips out, but I mean, mirror finish, definitely stainless. I went ahead and cleaned out the inside of the pipes, and I have it like laid out here. Oh, I gotta label this section. So what I'm doing is just like numbering the sections. I'm getting this done at a shop because I know I can't get the downpipe bolts out of the Alfa because they're extremely stuck. So I'm paying someone to do that. Here's my downpipe. I went with a 200 cell. Hang on, let me put this in. Sorry guys. I went with a 200 cell catted downpipe. It's basically a 3-inch downpipe, and it's heat shielded, so that's why I went for it. This one's made by De Corse, but this, along with the Trofeo Ultimo, is probably more than likely a private label product. Maybe they put some design into it, maybe not, but you know, you can custom order these parts too from suppliers, if you know what I mean. But anyways, so downpipe. And one thing I had to do when I was sourcing all these parts is getting all the gaskets and shit together was super important. So let me show you that. Here, so here, my downpipe didn't come with this, but this is a bracket to connect to the downpipe about right here, and this holds it into place against, I'm assuming like a firewall or the engine or something. I got the turbo heat ring or whatever you want to call it. That should go somewhere on the hot side of the turbo, kind of maybe like this. Doesn't exactly go on the downpipe, but we'll see if they can reuse the old one. I got a new one just in case. Gasket and bolts to connect the downpipe to the rest of the exhaust. So if you can imagine, the downpipe's going like right here. It's kind of hard to hold all this. But yeah, workmanship is actually pretty good. It does come in sections, and it comes in a big box. So for me, I'm labeling it all so I don't get the parts confused when I take it off the layout. The valve control system, or whatever you want to call it, comes in this box. You get a cigarette lighter adapter, basically, probably 12-volt power source, this box and some remotes, and then these are the two cables that go to the individual valves on the box, or on the exhaust. So that I'm probably gonna install like pre-wire, basically, so that way when the exhaust gets hooked up, you just plug in the two ends of the wire and hopefully that'll all be good. So you can see the tips here are kind of like these ball joints, and then they got some special clamps that way you can angle this and move this around. This to me is a little weird, like I get it, but it'll be interesting to see how this sounds like. Because like if you look inside here, that's kind of what the valve looks like. And this thing right here, I don't know if you see that, but there's like, that was not deburred at all. So, and that's both way on both sides. That's the one thing I will say is like, the outside looks really nice on these parts, but like I would have kind of deburred the edges a little more maybe on some of the pipes. And like if we look here, let me go over here, you know, you can't really tell from this pipe. Let me take this section off. But there's something I wanted to point out, just so you're aware. Like you see how there's like that lip sticks out? Well, that's because like this adapter sleeve, you know, was welded on top of this straight piece of section of pipe. Now I think everything should slide together, you know, and be probably really form-fitting, to be honest. Like these are big joints, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not really too worried about that, but it's something you should be aware of in this exhaust, is that it comes in a box. I know like there's other exhausts for the Giulia that have like less joints, basically, per se, but I just want you to know what you're buying, basically. So it's interesting. I think it might create some interesting resonances. The length, the section of the pipe that counts is a continuous diameter in some places. In some places it like, there are these overlapping sections where the diameter like by a little steps up and down, but for the most part it is a 3-inch exhaust. I mean, that pipe right there is 3 inches diameter. So that was the big thing, is the big downpipe that's heat shielded with a 3-inch exhaust and something to control the heat. Some tuning companies say you need an intercooler, some don't. For now, I'm just gonna more like optimize the stock system because I don't want to buy an intercooler quite yet. I don't know if I need it. So in doing that, I'm getting a new coolant overflow bottle because mine is worn out and can obviously get more fluid. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna change the transmission pan. I'm gonna do a transmission service. So that's a new pan and filter and fluid. This isn't a necessary endorsement of any company, but I do want to tell you where I got this stuff. I got this transmission kit from Centerline Alfa. Where'd it go? Yeah, Centerline. Really fast. Coolant bottle, that was Alfissimo. Forged, that was Eurocompulsion, I think. Downpipe is from De Corse. You can see it. And the exhaust is from Club Alfa PW Performance. You know, some of the other random stuff I just sourced via like eBay and stuff. I think this was, I forget who sold this to me. Anyways. All right, a cool detail I just noticed after getting this stuff organized. If you look here, you can see, I'll get it focused better. Club Alfa Performance there. Pretty nice little detail on the tips, I gotta say. I do like that. And then you've got these like hexagonal cutouts. Pretty sick, honestly. So you can tell some thought at least went into this exhaust. You know, for its criticisms that I have, I think what you're getting for the money is pretty good value. You are getting a 3-inch valved exhaust. It's a pretty much direct bolt-in kit. You know, you get these nice tips. So I've got everything organized here by job for the shop to take care of, because some stuff I do on my own, but there's just so much to be done here. I figured I'd just hand it to the professionals. So this isn't necessarily an endorsement, but I'm going to get all of this installed and worked on at Naples Motorsports in Southwest Florida. So if you're in South Florida, I mean, these guys have handled John Cena's car collection for a long time and other celebrities that live in Florida. So I would say you're probably pretty good going with him. So just short little tidbit there. Wanted to share that.